Good evening, everybody. This is episode 111. Must be something in the numbers tonight. The 111. We've got a new band formed called Font. So, being a graphic designer, this name could be an interesting one of where this name came from. But let's have a chat to these guys shortly. So, before we do, just a couple of things. I'd like to quick shout out to our good friends Electric Mary, who are just about to return back to Australia after 23 shows through Europe, through 11 countries. It's been fantastic to see a big tour from an Aussie artist out there again, doing great things. So welcome back, boys. They obviously lend us the track that we use to welcome everyone at the start of the show. So look forward to seeing those boys back, and no doubt plenty of stories to tell after a tour like that for sure. Just a couple of upcoming shows too for next week. I just want to have a quick shout out to Jessica Lux next Tuesday night. And also next Wednesday, we're going to do one with Zoe Fox and the Rocket Clocks. So keep an eye out for that one. It's a bit of a mouthful to say, and you got to be careful saying it, but it's a great new band. The band's been around for a little while, but a new release is just released. And this Friday night, it's a release at the Howler Bar. So look forward to that too. Just a quick couple of gig shout outs. We've got you kind of next few days sorted. This Thursday night, back at the Evelyn, Blackbird FC supporting John Dowell's Vanity Project with Little Faith. So this is part of a bit of a series at the Evelyn. So make sure you can try and get along to that one. And then Friday night, as mentioned, Zoe Fox and the Rocket Clocks. This is going to sell out. It's pretty close. Magic show. All sorts of things going on with that. Live aliens. It's going to be pretty crazy. So welcome back, Zoe Fox, after a break. And then Rocket Science. The first gig, this is supported by Blowers and Penny Klinger's Marble. So this will be a ripper too. This is amongst the series with Rocket Science. So fair lineup. And well done to the Blowers getting on this bill. So it'll be a cracking lineup. And then 21st, this weekend, off to Euroa. It's a big festival in Euroa, so plenty of friends of the show in amongst this one with Bones and Jones, Folk Bitch Trio, to name a couple. Zoe Fox heading up on that one as well. And then your Sunday sorted off to George Lane, Bones McKinnon album launch, supported with Charles Jenkins and the Chris Franklin's film. So unbelievable effort in the next few days if you can get out and see a band. I was lucky enough to get out and see half a dozen bands roughly between the last week or so, crammed a few in, plenty of stories to tell. And sadly, it sounds like the Big C seems to be back a little bit with a vengeance. We're going to call it the Big S for now. It's Sinton syndrome. We're referring to it as tonight. It's got a few already. We're up to 7 or 8 with the count. But just be careful out there, guys. Look after yourselves, support your friends. And most importantly, don't give up going to see gigs because it's not all that bad. You'll feel bad for a few days. Let's maybe that was all it was initially, but who knows? We'll never know, will we? So, look, welcome back. It's been a tough week for so many people. We understand with sadly the vote not going the way we thought it might, the yes vote. So whether you vote yes or no, that's kind of irrelevant now. It's all about support really for the future. So get amongst some friends and make sure there's plenty of Indigenous artists that we work with and have seen amongst time over in amongst Melbourne and beyond, doing great things. So please get out there and support everyone you can, no matter who they are. It's fantastic to see so many album releases this time of year. And we're very much heading into festival time now, which is super exciting. All right, before we bring up the members of the band, we've been super lucky enough to tie them all in tonight, which I think might even be a first in one of their interviews. There's always one missing here or there. So it's great to have everyone join us. We're going to bring them up. We might bring them up in alphabetical order, if I can even get this right. But it's going to be a bit of a sneaky because we've got 2 on the one list, and we get the start and also the end. So let's bring them up first. Angie Jones and Trevor Brian Cotton. How are you? Welcome.
Yeah, evening.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
Half the band with a fair band behind you, just by the way.
Yeah, singers. Yeah.
thanks for joining us. Look forward to this chat. It's been in the making for a little while, although we haven't really. So shows the album. Let's face it, but the good part is it's nearly ready. It's nearly ready to hit the streets hard now. So we look forward to this chat shortly. But we're going to bring up. Let's bring up someone who's got a fair lounge room. Let's quietly. Not a bad setup for Mr. Mark Adams. Welcome back, mate.
G'day. Welcome to my place. Nice to be here, Aaron. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Very good. And we also bring on Mick Muck. I hope I got that right, Mick, pronunciation of your surname. It's a tricky one. Only 3 letters, but can be a bit tough.
Yeah. Anyway, I didn't get the background memo, so yeah. I'm on the set of Who Can It Be Now?
Yeah, well played. Well done. That's good. Marky, you've actually got a really good backdrop normally behind you, so feel free to, unless you haven't cleaned up today. But anyway, not to worry. The grand piano's looking good.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. This is the band known as Font. Super exciting to see you all get a chance to have a little chat and find out a little bit more about the band. So, as I mentioned before, congratulations to every artist we know out there and friends of you guys as well. I'm sure friends of being able to release music finally in this big old world that we're coming out of with the lockdowns and everything else and all the headache. It's great to have new music. Some bands in particular are a little bit over their music they're actually releasing right now because it seems so long ago that they put it together and recorded it. But for you guys, it's been a while since 2019, let's face it, since the band first kind of rumbled. But an exciting time for you guys, no doubt, to be in a position now where you're finally getting to launch a single and get out there amongst and play more gigs, most importantly. Who wants to kick us off with the feelings of being able to release the first single?
I guess seeing it was my song. Yeah, I guess we got together and did a gig in what's the old Swamplands with the Let's Go's from Japan right before lockdown, I guess.
This one.
And
there you go.
Hey,
there
it is.
Wow, he's done his research.
Oh wow.
Done a bit of trawling.
Yeah.
And that was with our original drummer Luke Miller. And since then we went into lockdown and Luke has gone off and done some of his own solo stuff. And and then Mark come along and I guess there's how many songs we got?
Oh, we've got about 10.
10, yeah. So this is we're going to release them in the order of the album. Is that correct?
I believe that's what we're doing.
So this was
That's
the opening.
plan.
This is the opening one. So yeah,
perfect.
Pretty...
We'll look forward to them as you release them. Most importantly, because I think that's a really unique way of releasing single by single for a little while. Some bands do them by EPs, but I think it's exciting the way you guys are doing it. And most importantly, trying to back it up with a visual component too, which I think is so important in music these days.
Yeah, well, both those things weren't. I don't think they were consciously our decision to begin with. So we signed to Laneway Records a little while ago, and Vince Donato, who's the head of that label or co-director, basically put us on a plan of releasing a video for every one of the songs in order to just promote as much as possible. And then I kind of see, and I actually haven't spelled this out to the rest of the band, but I think it actually kind of ties the album together. We kind of get to release an album, but just do it in single form.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how did the rest of the lineup, Marky? When did you start to step into the fore?
You know, it's interesting that Swamplands gig you guys just mentioned. I was at that. I saw Font that night. I came late and I had to run, but I saw the last 3 or 4 songs. And I don't know if you remember, Angie, I sort of came up to you. just packing down your gear. And I said, "That was awesome, mate."
Yeah.
Patted you on the back and ran out.
Yeah.
So I was aware of Font very early,
Mm.
and joined. I don't know. Does anyone remember? About 18 months ago, maybe.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't remember the day.
Yeah, it would have been maybe late 21 because we were coming out of some lockdowns,
Yeah.
and then we started hanging out with you. I think, and it was at, I think it was still called Swamplands at that stage as well. When I think you'd approached us to be the drummer in the band once Luke had left. Does this
Yep.
sound
I
like you?
remember that was probably right. It was viable to be in a band again. People could actually, get together and
Yeah.
rehearse and stuff. And knew you
Well,
guys were drummers.
Yeah, but I've known Mark for a while, and I think I mentioned to him that, we're looking for a drummer, and he kind of said, "Oh, maybe that's something I can do." And yeah,
Yeah,
Sure
Mick and
you
I
have,
are
mate.
old buddies, and I know Angie for a good while as well. Whereas Trevor and I are the new kids on the block in terms of blossoming friendships, aren't we, Trevor?
Well, let's face it, there's a fair connection between you guys now for sure, both on
Yeah.
stage and off. See you at plenty of gigs. I just mentioned to Mick, weirdly enough, it's the first time I'm actually chatting to Mick after all this time. I've seen you guys at gigs and seen Mick probably standing right near Angie or one of you other guys for a lot of gigs, and just never had the chance to get up and probably lazy of me, to be perfectly honest. Mick, we must do that more often, so this won't be the last time we get to chat, that's for sure. So
yeah.
thanks for joining us again. It's always a quiet bass player, isn't it, that doesn't put himself out there as much. The quiet achievement.
Yeah, maybe just getting, I'm in the zone. I just sort of focus. Yeah.
The
Hold
lone
it
gun
down.
band.
Yeah.
Good luck for him.
So, guys, a really exciting time. Finally get to launch a single and actually have something out there to sell. It's a good piece, good place to be for sure. Obviously, the band got up and going before the big lockdown period, and then obviously momentum would have definitely stopped. But how did you guys use that kind of time, or did you, as a band, at all, being able to write music or record music in amongst that time yourselves as Font?
I know we couldn't record because we're in lockdown, but we could definitely go to each other's houses here and there when you're allowed to go within the 5K limit and have little mini jams, I guess.
Mm.
We had, and Trevor and I got together before at the very start on working on his songs and my sort of riffs as well before it all got together as well. So we sort of had some stuff happening. It's just
Yeah, we had the outlines of most of the songs from the album. So that 18-month period of cyclical lockdowns allowed us to refine our arrangements. It actually worked out kind of well. We didn't really slow down that much, I don't think.
and write a few new ones.
And write a few new ones.
Yeah.
The shag pole sessions and
Check boss.
Yeah,
all
that's right.
those little jams we had. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's discuss in particular Pretty Lately with this cover. It's a pretty cool cover, something a little bit different, a bit quirky. Tell us a little bit about the number 19 tram that sits behind me as well, the old classic. Angie, give us a little bit of insight into that.
Well, we pretty much all live along the number 19 tram line. That's sort of where that came about. We all go out a lot down Sydney Road, and most of the pubs we enjoy are down Sydney Road. So, and then COVID-19, and so it just seemed to be, yeah.
Yeah, you just brought it up at rehearsal.
Yeah, I
one
think I
day
just
as
brought it
a
up rehearsal.
Possible band album name, and it seems so natural.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
So-
thinking that or Full Frontal. But,
Well,
yeah.
Full Frontal was the other one that maybe that could be our second album
Yeah, maybe.
when we do the comeback.
Love a vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the name Font itself, how did that stick for you guys? I've seen the little clip that you mentioned on your linked page or your link tree, going against type. Font are rewriting the indie rock recipe book. I assume that's still relevant, very much so for you guys. But who put that little line together, and does that kind of summarize where the band's at right now?
Yeah, that was me. I'd already come up with the band name before I went looking to form a band. So the dream was that we'd be able to make any sort of genre of music. I mean, you can't go too disparate with these things, but you know, I like so many styles of music, whether it's classical or reggae or whatever. So I'd like to be able to be in a band where you could approach a genre and take some of it on board, appropriate it maybe, yeah. So that was kind of a loose framework for forming a band.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. What we're going to do is we're going to play a little bit of the clip that forms this song, and then we're going to talk about it. So here it is. We get to have a little bit of a breather with Pretty Lately. There we go. And the big finish. Well, it's actually a tricky little finish at the end there, I must admit. So who's behind the little round off towards the end there? Just drifts off into the sunset.
We took a lot of footage on a trip up to Ballarat, and that was sort of on the way back, coming over the bridge and just all the way up the Western Freeway. Sort of took some photos, video footage up and on the way back, and it was just coming around the bend onto the ramp.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, great. And there's the Ferris wheel of death there. We said that may not be there forever. So
Have people died on that Ferris wheel?
I don't know. It's like it's a bit structurally
Unsound?
structurally integrity is a bit dodgy, I think. But anyway, so they say. Yeah, so it's sort of that's where that footage came from for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
cool.
then yeah.
And was that a bit of a preconceived idea as far as putting that particular clip together and all that styling, or that's just how it came about?
I think
in
when
the end?
Vince said, we'd like to have a video for every single, it sort of put a bit of a rocket up our proverbials, I guess, to sort of get things going. So I thought, geez, I better get some footage. And one of the ideas was to sort of have a sort of those sort of scenes and things. So, and most of the time I'm always driving, so I don't, I don't get to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's almost got that feeling of either the dash cam of today, where it just picks up a little bit of a trip, but also there's that classic rage kind of moments for me, looking at that late at night, and it's got that real over posterized kind of image, which is kind of cool. And you get to the good part about seeing it. It's not just the clips; you get to see some parts of the band playing as well, which I think is really cool and helps tie it in. So obviously the visual component of this podcast, people will see straight away who plays what in the band, but be good to hear it just from you guys introducing yourselves. Angie, we'll start with you of what you play in particular in the band.
I play lead guitar and I don't sing. So just noises and sounds and riffs and I don't know, song ideas, I guess.
Well, that's as you know, that's the instrument, a voice in itself. Absolutely, it's just a different version of. And what's your instrument of choice or weapon of choice from a guitar point of view? Your favorite? Yeah.
I'd have to say Spencer's old Strat's pretty good. Yeah, it's very light and it's still got a lot of this bottom end stuff going on that just cranks, which you don't get. I've tried a couple of brand new Telecasters and they just don't have that sound like a 60s Strat. So and it's light too. So yeah, and then there's the other black beauty that Jeremy Klingen built, which was like a replica of the Neil Young's Black Beauty. So it's got some Firebird pickups and Bigsby and stuff. And so it's I don't know. Yeah, I just sort of I'm trying not to have too many guitars. I just sort of and pedals too. I'm sort of going reverse. Lots of where everyone else in the band seems to be ramping it up the other way. So I'm pulling it back.
Yeah, the more you take, the bigger the pack down. So it's always a challenge for sure. But obviously your other loves cars, Angie, as well. And I must mention that kind of at the same time. But is the love of a guitar with a certain year and a certain feel and style and sound, is there a similarity with the love of an old style car and doing with a similar kind of feel?
Yeah, you just sort of you just get used to sort of something, and I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's more apparent with a car than a guitar for me. But yeah, you sort of once you find that instrument you really like, then it's really hard to let go of like trying to find something else. It takes a long time to find that sound and that combination that works. So yeah,
sure, yeah. All right, we're going to move down to the bottom with Mick. Tell us a little bit about your gig in the band, mate.
Yes, I'm a bass player, and I guess I like sitting in the pocket and
yeah.
Whether my band makes like it or not, there's always just like a little bit of, I don't know, post-punk sort of creeping into the style. I think that's sort of what I sort of grew up listening to. It was a weird combo, sort of early hip hop and Joy Division, and I think that's kind of really ingrained in me. The kind of bass lines I kind of like listening to, and that I just sort of can't help but bring them into this band.
Yep.
So I like a good sort of P bass rumbling away, and but yeah, lately I think Angie alluded to this kind of maybe equipment sort of arms race that's going on. So I started with a tuner pedal, and now I've got this pedal board that's kind of rivaling Trevor's. It's sort of growing, and also because we just recorded an album, and there's sounds on there that I quite like, and I want to emulate those live, and so bringing in things that I've never really sort of played with before, and I'm mucking around with those. Become a bit of a pedal geek.
Yeah, it's just as important as obviously the instrument and the amp is what sits below your feet that people don't get to see a lot of, other than us band kind of geeks that get up there and have a look around the equipment and see what's going on there. But it's kind of pretty cool that it's always a new love for a guitarist as well, to find new sounds and new ways to play it. Out of the same instrument, which is quite incredible. What's the bass of choice for you?
So I just started with a P bass, but recently I've acquired a Mustang that I really like. I really enjoy that short scale. It means I can sort of groove a bit more, or it's just a bit more agile. But last night I picked up the P bass again, and I was like, maybe I'll start playing this again. I've got a real monster P bass, the heavy bridge. So it's like, why aren't I playing this? Maybe I'll play this one at the next gig. I'll see what happens.
Interesting. Like picking up an old bike, jump back on, and you feel sweet again. Let's do this again. So interesting.
I mean, I guess it's kind of like trying Yamaha and then going, I'll just go back to my Harley. We'll see how that goes.
Back to a classic for sure. Yeah. All right, Marky Adams, a different role for you that I've seen you in, behind the skins, or on the skins, I should say, behind the band, doing all those things to with Mick as well, to keep that band in check. Different role for you. How does it feel?
It's a lot of fun grooving with Mr. Muck. Yeah. Can I just say, I tried to take a picture of the 3 pedal boards in one place the other night. We played at the Post Office Hotel, which I'm sure is beloved of many people who watch your show, Aaron, in Coburg, Sydney Road, yet again, right? There's that connection. Yes. And I couldn't get far back enough to get all the pedals in the shot. Like the boards are enormous, and these guys are absolute scientists, test pilots. They're always trying new sounds and bringing stuff in. And that's so wonderful and refreshing. I think it's awesome. And it's a big part of fun, the actual exploration of sounds as we go. Like, we get the songs tight and we can play them. It's fun to play a nice tight set. But the sound experimentation is ongoing. It's pretty admirable how they do it. For me, I've been playing drums for a while. Played in a few other bands, but really had to up my game for this band. And I think it's made me a better drummer, but I just treat it as serving the song. I'm a beat drummer, just try and lock in with Mick and do the right thing by the tunes, sing a couple of BVs here and there, and not get involved in the proliferation of pedals because I can't afford it. Let these guys do it.
Yeah. Let's face it, though, the pack down's a little bit different.
Yes. But Trevor's kit, I've got a couple of kits in the back there behind the piano, but I generally use Trevor's touring kit, which is has lightweight hardware. So if there's any drummers listening, Trevor will know what the product's called. But there is drum hardware out there now that is so light that it honestly does. It's a game changer for the pack down. But yeah, it's definitely a different dynamic Aaron, you're definitely the last one out of the gig. Whereas with a guitar, you can just whack it on your back and be the first out. But it's worth it. It's a lot of fun being in Fon.
Absolutely. If anyone knows a pack down well, it's this man. Given that that's the daytime gig for Trevor. Trevor, tell us a little bit about yourself in the band, mate. And obviously, this has been part of your baby in respect of the recording process as well.
Oh yeah, well, I'm the only one who owns substantial recording gear, so yeah. And I'm trained. Hey, what's that, Aaron?
Someone to lean on. You got to have someone good in the band that's got access to the right gear for sure.
Yeah, well, it's a lot more affordable these days, a lot more portable, so it's not unusual to find at least one band member that's got quite a lot of gear. Yeah.
Yep. And yourself in the band, obviously guitar and vocals for you. Was it what came first? Is it a bit of a chicken or the egg with you? Was it guitar and then vocals came in, or for you as a musician yourself?
Oh wow, that's quite a twisted tale, that one. So I did start on guitar when I was like 7 or 8, and I didn't really stick with it. I had a really poor instrument, so I didn't practice. But I was given a drum kit when I was 11, and that one I got stuck into. And I probably played 3/4 of all my gigs on the drums. And it was really once I moved back from Perth about 7 years ago that I decided I was going to kind of take charge of my destiny and become a frontman of a band.
Yeah, sure. And favorite guitar for you?
I tend to stick with the one guitar. I've got an approach to try and cram as much into a small space as possible. So my electric guitar, which is a Gibson 335, has an acoustic pickup in it as well, so I can feed off a couple of paths and go off to like a PA with an acoustic sound. And then the electric guitar goes into the plethora of pedals off to an amp, which is also really quite small. It's like it's definitely a TARDIS in terms of its ability to produce volume in such a small cabinet.
Yep. Great to hear. And the songwriting process, really, in particular for this song, but then again in the whole album, how has Pretty Lately kind of come together? Where did it start? I suppose. Well, let's go with that first. Who can kick us off there?
Okay, that's one of my contributions. I wrote that in lockdown, pretty much, with Tunnel and Time, and I had a lot of time on my hands, so I wrote all these on acoustic, and Pretty Lately is about feeling good after feeling shit for a long time, I guess, and it's sort of got a couple of meanings, I guess, there for me.
Yep.
But then it's sort of broader too for everyone else during COVID and what we've all been through as individuals as well. The songs I write, I don't write lyrics, so I'll approach Trevor and say, hey, this is his title, and like Pretty Lately, this is what the feeling is, and then he'll write some lyrics. And then sometimes they'll go along that line, or in this case, it went the complete opposite way, and was about a night out,
and then
around the town drinking,
hungover,
drinking.
Yeah.
So, which that's just how songs are, So it's sort of how I think we've probably on this particular album, you and I have probably written about half each, and then Mark, our drummer here, is. Mr. Adams has come in with a late entry, which is pretty damn fine too. And Mickey's just backing us up with some groovy bass and just making us all look good. There's really nice riffs and things on the bass on some of the songs that Mick's created. It's
counterpoints, really little harmonic counterpoints that were unexpected at the time of writing. Yeah.
And we also, we all have different, we all like different genres of music too. So there's all this sort of pool of different ideas as well that's running around with us with our background of where we've been. So it sort of it sort of leaves it very open to songwriting wise. Just sort of happy for anyone to submit an idea. So
Yeah, that's I suppose that's the magic and chemistry of a band these days. Is if that harmony can happen and continue to happen with everyone contributing, I think a band's in for a good future for sure. And really look forward to seeing more of Font. I haven't had the honor yet of seeing you guys live, but I've heard plenty of stuff around the traps, and I will make sure I'm at one of your next gigs. And in particular, we should probably touch on that. What's coming up? Obviously, there was a gig for the launch at the post office not long ago, but Sunday the 29th of October, I think, is the next one, isn't it? With 10 Gallon Head at Coburg RSL.
that's it.
yeah.
That weekend where lots happening, but it's an
So,
afternoon. So everyone can come down when they're hungover from the rest of the weekend.
And I expect everyone, in true honor of this song, to get the number 19 tram down. Jump on from wherever you are. Maybe it should be a bit of a meet further down Sydney Road or that area, and head down on the tram and get to the gig and see you guys.
Life's pretty easy when we're living along the tram line.
Absolutely. And most importantly, get there early and do not miss 10 Gallon Head if they're first. I assume you guys are headlining that one, even though you're equally within your rights to both be headlining or co-headlining that gig for sure. Good friends of yours, 10 Gallon Head, give them a quick pump up for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, those guys have been
Phenomenal,
around for years, and yeah, all consummate players as well. Like Wes, the keyboard player, is one of the champions of vintage keyboard sounds in the city. Yeah,
I've had a bit of a sneak peek to their record. It had a bit to do with it actually, and every song is killer. It's a really, really strong album. Whenever they choose to sneak it out, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, speaking of, you probably lead me into not the next one, but I'll take it as the next question. Marky, is when can we hear a little bit more of Font? What's next, and what's the timeline on the next single?
It's not far away, and we're having, like we were saying, I think Andrew was saying, it put a rocket up us to think about videos and think about the visual side for every song, and that's been really exciting. And again, largely due to Trev, but we're all bringing our inputs in. We've got the gear and the expertise in house to do that, so it feels like we're making a record all over again. We're revisiting all these tunes and pushing them out every month or 6 weeks or so, one by one, with a video, and trying to have a gig at about that frequency as well. So to answer your question, there's lots happening, and it's pretty much something we'll drop every 4, 5, 6 weeks. It's exciting times.
Beautiful. So we're talking other side of Christmas, or will we get a little sneak peek of something before Christmas?
yeah, you're gonna get some. Yeah,
Great. Pre-Christmas. Fantastic. Great to hear. And yes, Gaz, who's a good friend of our show and all you guys know well, I haven't seen Font. So I've heard through you good things though, Gary. So let me tell you. And a quick shout out to a good friend of our show based in Canada, 5 a.m. over there. So he's got up purposely because I gave him a heads up. It was about 4 days ago that I gave him a heads up that you guys were going to be on. So Robert Wine is a very interesting story. I'll tell you at a gig one day, but never misses a show. So incredible story. But yeah, and now absolutely a fan of Font. So we're going to have to find a way to get him over a tea at least, hopefully in the near future, because it's a great logo. Let's face it, you guys have got. Tell us a little bit about who came up with that. Here it is. Quite simple, but quite striking too, and
Trevor.
it's a good one.
yeah. That so the curly bits basically F holes in my guitar.
Mm.
Yeah,
Cool.
and because I already had that name in mind. Yeah, just it didn't take much thought to put the two together. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. And we touched on this gig at Coburg RSL. Cool artwork. Who's behind this one?
Yeah, I just sort of I sort of try and make it a bit exciting on the posters. Just sort of find random stuff on the internet, and I just saw this 10-gallon head, and I just like Googled 10-gallon head, and this thing came up. I was like, wow, this is
Great
fantastic.
poster.
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is like
It is a good
perfect.
one.
Yeah,
Uh,
sort of try and find. I don't know. I only have my iPhone at the moment, so it's sort of everything I'm doing is on my iPhone, and then I sort of flick it through, and then Trev
Yep.
usually cleans it up into a poster or something like an actual format that we can print. And but there's only so much you can do on an iPhone, I guess. So.
I think that says a little bit about how we approach music or any sort of art. You've got a really kind of visceral and immediate approach to what you do, and I'm much more of an organizer kind of person.
I used to do broadcast video for 11 years in Sydney, so I sort of visual things are a really big thing for me. So I enjoy doing the visual content. I'm just not very good with words.
That's okay. And a quick shout out to your incredible photos that you take at gigs too, and that little portrait series that you've been running, probably not necessarily on purpose. It's probably I hope it is on purpose from now on. That little portrait series you're running of different artists, I reckon, is fantastic. So, and friends, most importantly as well. So keep it up, mate.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah.
Now I must ask about this because this has caught my eye. And people look at this picture and may not notice too much different, but that drumstick in your hand, Trevor, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to give some credit to an old band that I did play a little bit in, and I produced. It was the first band that I made a record for release for. They're called Radar Maker, and they were a post-rock band that I'd met them at a festival where a few of them were playing like a busking set, but they were definitely much more into soundscapes and everything shoegazy that goes with post-rock. And one of the songs, which is called, there's more than one that they did, but the first single there is called Arm versus Fiery Antenna. Very post-rock name. One of the guitarists was playing with a screwdriver, kind of bowing the strings. So that had already been something I was kind of interested in, and I had a drumstick, and I thought I might, because I had bought a bow, kind of like Jimmy Page had a bow for his Les Paul in the 70s. So I thought I'd give that a shot and just experiment with some sound. And I realized quickly that bows don't last very long on metal strings. So I thought I'd go looking for something else, and it took quite a few sticks actually. A lot of them wouldn't actually induce a sound very well. I had these sticks that I nylon tip sticks, which I hadn't used for like 20 years, just sitting in a case, and pulled them out, and they're the ones I have to have that particular brand of stick to be able to get the sound.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Yeah. So obviously for you, they're the must-have at a gig, obviously, because that's a little feature of obviously one of the songs. But is anyone else in the crew here? Is there an absolute, other than your instrument, obviously, but is there an absolute must-have that you must pack in the car or take pre-gig? Is there any pre-gig little ritual that you guys go through, or you go through in particular as an artist? Anything in particular that makes you guys different or quirky that someone may not know about? Mark, you must have one for sure.
I have to have earplugs. Really loudest band I've ever had anything to do with. And again, that's one of its strengths. It's a powerful beast. So when I get behind the kit, you'll see me doing that.
Yeah.
Just for, my own health.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting Mark says that, because like I've played in punk bands, and I think Font's louder. So with punk, you can kind of, you can turn the volume, you can turn the gain up, the volume down. With Font, it's all, to get that breakup that, particularly what Angie does, the kind of feedback that she generates, and, that sort of edge of breakup sound that you can only sort of do with an analog amp with tubes, nice warm tubes, and getting the gain and the volume just right. You can't do that at like a low volume. We actually can't really have a quiet rehearsal. It's just going to be loud. And then Mark's got his earplugs. Wise man, it's just
So I even tried out an AC10 box and thought, I'll get it because it seems lighter. It'll save my back. Then I took it to rehearsal. I was like, damn it doesn't like crack up. It's like couldn't break up the feedback. Just wouldn't do it. And so I had to take it back and swap it over for an AC15 to get that to get that sound. Yeah.
Back to the true sound. Yeah, okay, no problem. And was pretty lately, was that the first song kind of nailed for you guys on this particular album, or it just happens to be the first single?
No, because what was the first one? I guess when we first met was some of your songs actually.
Oh well, Hungry Bear.
Hungry
I think
Bear
was the first one we
very
ever
first one.
attempted.
Yeah.
And I'd already had the. I think I had the whole structure for that in place. Hadn't I?
Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, Hungry Bear was actually the first one Trevor and I worked on. Yeah.
Yep.
And then
All right.
Which won't be
Okay.
released like about I don't know April or something. I think.
opening on the
Go
second.
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So you've got a bit of a structure for how you're gonna. Obviously, you mentioned every 6 or so weeks, so hopefully earlier the better. With fans of Font for sure that want to see some stuff. So, have you got a bit of a structure for the full release at this stage, as far as how they'll roll out, or it's very much you just checking out kind of reactions, I guess, from yourselves and fans of Font of what's going to go out next? Is there a particular order set up already?
I think it's as per the album.
Yeah.
We've got the LPs here sitting here.
Yeah,
we're
we're
just trying to figure out.
We're under
When did
instruction from our label head to a schedule, a fairly rigid schedule.
Yeah,
and that's forcing our hand with these music videos as well.
Yep.
But that's one ecosystem of releasing these songs is one at a time as a digital single. But we've got the vinyl records, which are just over there, a little tower of them. And we can release them whenever we feel like we've got the attention of Mary Beck.
Great. Yeah, great to hear. So it's not far away for sure. It's a really exciting time for all you guys. Obviously playing in other bands. This hopefully is a special one for you guys, and long may it continue well past an initial album for sure. But it must feel like kind of multiple albums as you guys put out multiple releases here. You get to do plenty of gigs, and every gigs looks like it might be an album release, which is even better to hear. Let's face it, it'd be a good band name, album release, or album launch, because there'd always be someone there for sure. But exciting, as I said, exciting time for you guys. Just a couple of photos we've got of you guys playing at different venues. I think this one's Coburg RSL. Was it one of the Fuzzy Sundays, Mark?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it could well be. Yeah.
Fuzzy.
Yeah, do I see a digger in the background? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you just kind of make out those blinds. Yeah.
Yeah, So
And another one kind of
Jam
kind
Hut.
of hacked into the Instagram of you guys. So please bear with me with some of these. But I think it's great to see some behind the scenes shots.
That's
Yeah.
the back room at Jam Hut. Where
room 5. Yeah, the recording.
Yeah.
room.
yeah.
So a lot of the album was tracked there, and the live energy happened in that very cool wood panelled room. If anyone knows Jam Hut in Preston, that's the space up the back, which I think was in the day a working studio.
Yep. And we do have a little snippet of one of the boards here. It's a timepiece for sure. You guys doing a little bit of experimentation. Has that board grown since, or is that where it sits now?
It's evolved. It's not any larger. I've just got different pedals on there now.
Okay.
Yeah.
More bells
Well,
and whistles.
he had to kick something off there so Trevor's got a pedal for his vocals now. So he's had to kick some guitar pedals off the board so he can have his Boss vocal
No children were lost at sea on this one, Mick.
Really?
I kept the same number of
You're just well organised.
pedals for the guitars. Yeah, just crammed more children into the tamper, as it were.
Yeah, right.
Great effort, that's for sure. And here's another one of the crew together. Can't tell where this one is, but it looks kind of Jam Hut 2.
Yeah, that was our first band picture.
Yep, very cool. And one of the publicity shots you guys have used out the front of the tote. Thank God we saved that place, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing.
that photo was a Steph Whelan. Yeah, he took those photos for us.
And it still says a lot for how incredible that this city is as a community for the support of culture. That, you know, $3 million worth of other people's money has been donated to save it.
Yeah. What a piece of work. Yep. It's really quite something. Like, you know, world-class effort.
Yeah, sure is. There is one other gig or festival that I must talk about, River Rocks, for you guys. November 18. It's coming up. Fair lineup, just quietly. This will be a great festival. You got not understating you guys at all, but it must be fantastic to be on this bill.
Pressure's on, yeah. Pressure's on. Yeah, I sort of asked Buzz if I could. For me, they've got a SPJ stage down there, and I sort of hint in a couple of times. You know, it'd really be nice to take the old strap down and give it a bash. And been. You know, the last time I asked was a year or so ago, and just we hadn't had any music out and we're still recording and stuff. So, yeah, we sort of got a little slot there. So we're going to have to prove ourselves, I reckon. Yeah, amongst fantastic lineup there.
I can tell. If anyone's going to do it justice for Spencer, Angie, it's going to be you. So it'd be fantastic to see you on stage at that gig. Playing Spencer's guitar, how special will it be? So make sure you're there November 18, everyone, to enjoy a special time, to reminisce, I guess, and shoot around a few stories.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm happy just to hang around and watch the other bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day.
It's always a good festival down there. Those guys, Buzz and Rick and that, they put on a really good lineup and good vibes and stuff down there. It's always guaranteed to be a pretty good day.
I have to go back to work immediately after that, after our set.
I'll have to take 2 cars.
Yeah. No one else is coming back, Trev. We're all staying down there. It's going to be a big day. All right, I'm just going to go quickly around the room and ask each of you. Obviously, all these questions have been impromptu, but can you give me one artist that you are kind of really enjoying watching or listening to right now? I'm going to hit you up first, Trevor.
You mean locally or anyone?
That can be anyone, but I'm probably going to ask you for a local one, most importantly. Maybe someone that not everyone's potentially heard of. A little bit tougher question.
Well,
really good.
We've got a circle of friends bands that we go and see all the time. So, you know, the Golden Rail and 10 Gallon Head in there. Generally they're the bands we're playing with. So that's the circle. But I mean, geez, it's so hard to pick my favorite flavor of ice cream.
When you get to the ice cream shop, Trevor, you have to pick one. So we're just gonna
I don't have to do anything that my mum tells me anymore.
Very true. All right, Angie.
I mean, I would say anything with Mark McCartney on guitar, but that doesn't narrow it down at all. You know that and they're all killer bands. So you know.
What are you're gonna have to narrow it down too, Mick? Give me one.
Well, maybe I'll jump in and contribute here, Mick, because Scott Bennett, who's drummer in a handful of bands, is phenomenal. I got to play a gig with him a few weeks ago, which was a nice little honour. So maybe it'd have to be Mick Daly's Corporate Raiders then, wouldn't it?
Oh, because they're both too far. Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Savvy.
There you go. What about you, Marky?
I have been listening to Charles Jenkins and Doug Lee Robertson's Radio Sketches the Third, if anyone's heard that.
Mm.
That first song they put out, it's called Mercy, is just the most irresistible pop song, as those guys can just pull out their bums anyway. But they've just really nailed it, and I think that record is incredibly strong, and I can't stop listening to it. Radio Sketches the Third.
Great to hear. All right, I'm going to do a quick shout out to Emily South, who had on the show not long ago. Killer band. Her partner Maddie Dixon on guitar, who's in multiple bands as well. So shout out to one of my favourite artists at the moment, Emily South, who's doing some great things. So make sure you check her out. All right, guys, if you weren't playing the particular instrument that you're playing currently now in Font, and you could play another instrument now in another band, which is called Helvetica. Let's just pick a nice Font name.
I thought Winding, personally.
Yeah, or Windings would be a good one, but I like that one more, actually. So that's going to get the vote. We're going to kick off with you, Mark. What would it be?
It'd be percussion. In Helvetica, I'd play those. What are those kettle drum things? Those Caribbean things. Kettle drums in Helvetica, wearing wraparound sunnies that I can't actually see through. Over.
Very cool. All right, Mick. What about you?
Well, look, since this pedal board I've built up, a lot of it has crossover into like doom and sludge. So maybe I'll just play in some stoner doom band, and I just get some big axe and 2 Marshall stacks and just tear it up.
Yeah, very, very cool. All right, Ange, what have you got?
I'd love to play drums, but I have no time whatsoever with drums. So I'd say bass. I'd like to play some funky, as Mick was saying, something a bit heavier, and seeing a lot of the female bands are coming back. I think when we were playing with the Rock Dogs and stuff earlier, I got to see the Miffs. They were great, and got me all sort of excited for bass.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Trevor. What would it be for you?
I'm going to get some silk pantaloons tucked into some long white socks, a dusted wig, and sit at a harpsichord and play some baroque, bit of Bach.
Powdered wig?
In a what?
A powdered wig?
A powdered wig, yes. All Court of Vienna.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That could all form part of the Love for the Jumper next year.
It'll be a Tenacious D cover band playing on harpsichord. That's what it'll be. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, guys. We could talk for hours, but I'm going to make sure we bring you on next time you release another single. We're going to have a quick chat about every single. So line it up. Thanks for joining us.
There you go. You've already created the pun, because that's the name of the next song.
I'll have to even listen back because I can't even remember which bit.
Oh, lineup.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great to hear. Great to hear. Little sneak peek for us.
We'll be shooting that clip next week and editing it and then throwing it out there.
Brilliant. So definitely won't be far away. Now that you've got just interesting enough. Now that you've put it through with the. Sorry, I'm just looking for a quick pick here. Bear with me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Of Laneway Music, independent record label too. It's fantastic that you guys have been in a position where you've got that set up now. Has that really spurred you on? And obviously you mentioned a few times that it's kind of pushed you and steered you in a direction, but how important that's been to put you in front now and really push you ahead as far as pushing Font out into the big market.
Yeah, Laneway are really good. They're helping a lot of the older bands get all their content back up online, which you wouldn't be able to do back in the day. And you see, there's all these old bands and stuff, older bands online and stuff now, and it's they all out to the world, and they're getting another resurgence, and it's great. Vince and Dan doing a really good job there. They work really hard, so we feel we have to do the same back. And it is as simple as what everyone thinks it is to sort of get all those online sort of views and things. There's little formulas and that they use. So it's quite interesting.
And it's probably a lot of work for older heritage acts, if you will, because they've got publishing deals from back in the day as well. To navigate.
Yeah. So that's no, very, very positive.
Great to hear. You guys are doing great things. So look forward to seeing you at a gig very soon. I'll definitely make sure I try and catch the Coburg RSL gig, the 10 Gallon Head. That's a must. And then obviously River Rocks Festival, November 18. Make sure you get down there. That one we've just found out tonight is definitely going to be extra special. So make sure you're down there for the lineup. Trevor, you're going to have to miss out on what you're doing later. You're going to have to stay. So cancel whatever you're doing later. It's going to be a lock-in.
No, we're doing
hotel. We really should.
Do what?
We really should book a hotel for the night. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, it's a Saturday.
Let's do it, Mickey.
Yeah, but maybe you'll be glad that I won't join you, because then you don't have to put up with my jet plane snoring.
No one said about anything about going to bed.
The next day as well, Mark.
Yeah, I've got to get up early and
Fuzzy Sunday. So it
set
looks
up
like
Fuzzy Sunday.
Oh, Sunday. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Give that a quick shout out, Mark. That's coming up too, Fuzzy Sundays. That is one not to miss. So make sure when you get back in the car, all the way back, do it responsibly and make sure you've got a driver that hasn't been drinking. Quick shout out to our friends at Heaps Normal. We must give them a quick plug, Marky. And it's ironic. Beautiful product on hand. Great to see.
The new
release.
Half Day Hazy is pretty delicious. The yellow can. Sorry, these backdrops are weird.
Yep. We'll believe you.
The lounge room lager.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Fuzzy Sundays. Is there a little sneaky you can give us? Who's on the bill?
Yep, I think promo's going to go out the next few days, and it's the day after River Rocks. That's just a coincidence. But hey, I'll back up the next day and go have a 12-hour day. A few tram stops north of your backdrop there, Aaron.
Yep.
Coburg RSL. River of Snakes, the Cranoplans, Ben Lease, and left of the dial, the Mean Times, Faulkner Walking Society, and Beautiful Buildings. An eclectic, fun lineup, including some interstate visitors. It'll be a lot of fun. Doors at 12 noon.
Perfect. Well, shout out to you and the crew that put that together, Mark. It's a fantastic event. Long may it continue. Every RSL in Melbourne should be doing the same thing. So jump on board the Coburg RSL concept. You'd be surprised how many people turn up at your venue when you offer something good and good musicians. So well done, Mark. Long may it continue. And congratulations to you guys again as Font on the new single Pretty Lately, and look forward to seeing you out there soon.
Yeah, and you too.
You too.
Thanks, mate.
For joining us. See you guys.
See
Good
ya.
night.
Yeah.
Fantastic to have the guys from Font join us. And YouTube, we'll post a couple of links to where you can get on and have a look, rewatch that song. And also Linktree for Font Band is where Font_band is what you're looking for. Get all the information, get on Bandcamp, purchase a single, gift it to a friend, do all those good things. And most importantly, get out there and see a band over the weekend. So thanks for joining us, everyone. 17th of October, episode 111 of So What's Been Happening. We'll see you in a week's time, roughly, for Jessica Lux, and then into Zoe Fox and the Rocker Clocks. So we'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us on So What's Been Happening.